Welcome back to I Survived the 80s channel, where we reminisce about when Saturday mornings were sacred, parents had no idea what we were watching, and cartoons were basically a 30-minute toy commercial. Today we're diving into the top 10 cartoons of the 1980s, and let's be real, if you didn't watch these, then you didn't survive the 1980s, I'm afraid. So, number 10 on the list is one of my favourites actually. It's Mask, or Mobile Armoured Strike Command. And yes, the K is there because it's the 80s and we didn't care how to spell. And as a dyslexic, I still don't.
Masked crusaders working overtime, fighting crime. Secret raiders who will neutralize soon as they arrive. The soundtrack is gonna lead the mission, and Spectrum's got the super.
This was like G.I. Joe had a baby with Transformers. Secret agents with transforming vehicles, yes please. Also, these guys had helmets that gave them powers, which made me think my bike helmet would do the same. Spoiler, it did not. It was a very enjoyable cartoon. There was lots of action going on, fantastic music to go with it, and the toys were all the rage in the playground. Now, number 9 on the list is one that I'm not over familiar with, which is Voltron. So before Power Rangers, before Pacific Rim, there was Voltron. 5 pilots, 5 mechanical lines, and 1 giant robot. What more could you ask for?
From days of long ago, from uncharted regions of the universe, comes a legend. The legend of Voltron, defender of the universe. A mighty robot, loved by good, feared by evil.
The formula was simple. Bad guy shows up, Voltron fights in separate lines, get his butts kicked, and then like clockwork form a blazing sword and boom! Game over. Why didn't they just do that immediately? It does make me wonder. And number 8 in the list is one of my after-school favourites. It's Inspector Gadget, the ultimate clumsy detective with more built-in tech than a Swiss Army knife on steroids. His niece Penny did all the detective work, whilst Gadget bumbled his way through cases completely unaware of his nemesis, Dr. Claw, who, by the way, never got a proper face reveal. We demand justice for that. This cartoon reminds me a little bit of a cartoon version of Inspector Clouseau from the Pink Panther movies, not to be confused with the Pink Panther cartoon. That might be on the list. We'll see. And number 7 on the list, we've got, again, one of my after-school favourites, The Real Ghostbusters. The Real Ghostbusters took the hit movie and cranked it up the weirdness within it. We had Slimer as a sidekick, Egon rocking a blonde pompadour, and ghosts that haunted my nightmares as a child.
Something strange in the neighborhood. Who you gonna call?
Also, how did they afford all that high-tech ghost busting gear? No way insurance covered that. The Real Ghostbusters had a reboot a few years later, but sadly didn't quite come up to the same level as what the original did. But overall, it's a fantastic cartoon. I have them on my iPod somewhere from years ago that I downloaded, and I still watch them when I dig that iPod out. Absolutely fantastic cartoon. And the toys that came out based around that with the characters, and there you had the old lady whose jaw drops, and you had the bug-eye one, and a couple of those did make it into the more later movies as well as cameos, shall we say, within the movies. Okay, number 6 on my list is DuckTales. Woo! No, I'm not going to do it. DuckTales. Scrooge McDuck taught an entire generation that swimming in gold was totally possible. Yeah, I'm going to leave that for the cartoons. Not rich enough to try that yet. However, It was a good cartoon. It was a Disney spin-off with his three nephews, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. And they went on adventures. What more could you ask for, really?
Life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg. Race cars, lasers, aeroplanes. It's a duck blur. Might solve a mystery or rewrite history. DuckTales, woo!
At number 5, pizza, check. Nunchucks, check. Crime-fighting Ninja Turtles raised by a talking rat? Hell yes! Up here. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was every kid's dream, and let's be real, Michelangelo was the turtle everybody wanted to be. Cowabunga, dude. My favourite was always Donatello. As somebody who studied martial arts as a child, I could really get to grips with some of the action scenes.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Heroes in a half shell. Turtle power. They're the world's most fearsome fighting team. We're really hip. They're heroes in the half shell and they're green. Hey, they're red. When the evil Shredder attacks, these turtle boys don't cut no slack.
Scenes in there, and we'd be practicing in the dojo. I like the bow staff of Donatello purely because I could use my mum's broom to whack my baby brother. All's good in the world. And number 4 is G.I. Joe. This is more of an American one. It was big in the UK, but it wasn't as big as some of the other cartoons that were out at the same time. So knowing is half the battle, and the other half was buying all the action figures. G.I. Joe gave us an epic battles, iconic characters, and life lessons at the end of every episode, and yet somehow nobody got hit with actual bullets. 80's logic at its finest.
We'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe, American hero. G.I. Joe is there. It's G.I. Joe against Cobra and Destro, fighting to save the day. He never gives up. He's always there, fighting for freedom over land and air. G.I. Joe.
They did make a movie a few years ago. That was actually not too bad, but cartoons definitely rocked. Number 3 on the list, we've got Transformers. Autobots roll out. Transformers was the peak of the 80s. Robots that turned into planes, trains, occasionally cassette decks, and yes, the odd dinosaur as well. Yes, Grimlock and Sludge, and the other one that began with an SL, but we can't say anymore because they've changed the name. Anyway, Transformers was one of my favourite cartoons, if not the favourite of all the 80s. Toys everywhere, fantastic engineering went into them to convert a figure into a vehicle.
The Transformers, more than meets the eye. Autobots wage their battle to destroy the evil forces of the Decepticons. The Transformers, robots in disguise. The Transformers, more than meets the eye.
Absolutely phenomenal. Spin-off movies throughout the 2000s and more recently, but the cartoons still are amazing. And it was one of the first movies that I ever saved my pocket money for all and bought just because there was swearing in it in a kid's cartoon. You don't have that these days. Maybe you do. It's a big thing in the 80s. We had swearing in a kid's cartoon. It was a very weird cartoon movie with Unicron and Galvatron, Optimus Prime, Rodimus Prime, and Ultra Magnus. And spoiler alert, the bit where Optimus Prime dies, yeah, that is the only scene in any movie where you can guarantee a teenage boy will shed a tear. Sad times. Okay, number 2 on my list is He-Man, part Conan Barbarian, part shampoo commercial. Every episode, Prince Adam transformed into the most jacked dude in the universe while Skeletor ran off cursing every single episode.
And the masters of the universe. I am Adam, Prince of Eternia and defender of the secrets of Castle Grayskull. This is Cringer, my fearless friend. Fabulous secret powers were revealed to me the day I held aloft my magic sword and said, "By the power of Grayskull!"
Fun fact, his disguise was literally a tan and a haircut. Classic 80s TV. He-Man spurred all these characters that came off, and then all the action figures that followed in Snake Mountain, in Castle Grayskull. Myself and my brother, we had all those toys. They're still in my parents' loft now. I do want to take them out. They're just in boxes, and I might set up a website to sell them on. I don't need them as an adult. I've got nowhere to put them, and they are just unfortunately in a loft in my parents' house. So I'm going to sort that out sometime. But there's loads and loads of He-Man. Guaranteed there'll be no weapons with them. The other spin-off from there was She-Ra, which was the female version, and secretly the lads quite liked the She-Ra one because, well, she was quite hot for a cartoon character. Just saying.
For the honor of Grayskull! I am She-Ra!
And talking of hot, number one on the list is Thundercats with no less than Cheetara. Oh yes.
It's cold! Circuit's starting to freeze!
The show had it all: sci-fi sword fights, a villain who's basically an evil mummy, and an animation so crisp it still holds up. Also, Lionel somehow aged physically but not mentally during hypersleep, making him this grown warrior with the mind of a kid. Explains a lot, really, doesn't it?
Thundercats! Ho!
Many times on the playground as a child, you'd hear come booming across the playground was the phrase "Thundercats, ho!" and you knew somewhere there was a game going on where people were pretending they were Thundercats, and you had to go and join in that game wherever you were on the playground. That was the way that we rocked. Nowadays, I think kids sit in the playground like this. We were running around pretending we were cartoon cats. Yeah. 80s were good though. So there you have it. The greatest cartoons of the 1980s. If you had a favourite, drop it in the comments. If you ever try swimming in a pile of coins like Scrooge McDuck, let me know how that turned out for you. And don't forget to like and hit that subscribe bell, because unlike VHS cassettes, you can't rewind YouTube. Until next time, stay rad, stay tubular, and most importantly, stay survived. Thank you for watching.